Hi, everybody. Just give it a couple minutes. All right. Also try. Hi, everybody. Okay. I think I'm going to get started right now. So let me just turn on my Instagram as well. All right. Okay. So I just want to recap. So first of all, it's Natalie Wasserberg, and this is week 4 on series How to Adapt to the New Normal, right? And we've been discussing how to manage and succeed in these challenging times. And always at the beginning of the session, I'd like to recap what we covered so far. So first week was acceptance and resistance. So we want to accept. Second week was on staying calm, cool, and collected. And it's very important. We discussed that it's very important to stay grounded or being present in the moment, right? So that we do not follow this fight flight response, but more in a calm state where we can actually make a very sensible and logical decisions, right? And then last week we talked about mindfulness and how it is important to be an observer. And it's a very actually big subject, and I think we'll have to go back to it. But for now, just focus on what I said last week and try to stay present and become an observer, taking that third point view, kind of like getting out of yourself and seeing the situation and yourself as an outsider. And today is a very exciting topic. It's also related to mindfulness, and we'll talk about energy vampires. I'm going to use actually someone else's teachings for that, and because I just love the way this person explains and identifies what those energy vampires are. There's a lot of representation of this particular subject, but I really love this one because it's really visual and easy to follow. I'm using Vadim Zeland. It's a Russian scientist, and he explains it pretty well. So he calls those energy vampires, he calls them pendulums. He calls them destructive pendulums. So if you just imagine, let's say a group of people, usually it can actually start with one person, and it starts with a thought and an action. And then as more people are aligned with that thought and that action, they add on to that pendulum. So just imagine how pendulum swings. So it starts with one thought, it starts with one action, and then the more people gets into it, it starts swinging more and more. And the more it swings, the more powerful it is. And we call it destructive pendulum for a reason, because when it comes to that energy source, it's not it's energy structure, I would say. It feeds on people's energy. So it drains energy from people. So anyone who is in that, not necessarily so for some, and I'll talk about some exceptions, but for the most part, it feeds on that energy, and people lose energy from being in that pendulum. So let me just talk a little bit about give you an example so you can picture how it forms. So let's say, imagine a wave in the ocean. So the ocean is like a field of energy, and that's what we talk about, that everything is energy in this world. And everything is just in that one field, right? And then a wave in the ocean starts forming, and it kind of starts acting as an independent structure. So it's part of the ocean, but it becomes this independent movement. So it starts flowing like this. So pendulum is just like that. It's coming out of the energy field, and it's in that energy field. But then when similar thoughts, similar actions are grouped together, it starts moving in the one direction and starts forming this kind of like a wave. And then once the wave is formed, it gets on more energy and intensifies and intensifies. So that's also the reason it's destructive, because it tries to attract as much energy as possible, and it feeds on people's energy. So what are other characteristics of those pendulums? Let's see. So they are independent. They're independent of the energy field. They're part of the field, but they become and act independently. Then they also have their rules and structures. So in a way, if someone created a thought and started a pendulum, let's say political campaign is a big pendulum. So someone starts it, and at some point, the pendulum becomes so independent that it doesn't matter what that person is no longer thinking or doing, because the pendulum has become completely independent with rights and rules and just goes on its own. And we can see that actually as many examples with founders of big companies like Apple and Facebook. They all had to step down, right, at some point, because they were no longer in charge of that pendulums. The company became this whole pendulum on its own. So another important factor for pendulum is that it needs energy, right, from people. So it tries to attract as many people as possible. And the other factor is that it also competes with other pendulums. So you'll be able to see when it's always trying to get people out or say, this is not good, I'm good. That's definitely a destructive pendulum. And like I said, it could be a party, political party, a corporation, business, even relationships. So in nature, let me give you some examples of those pendulums in nature. So you'll see it as a beehive or ant colony or fish schools and herd of animals. So they gravitate together. All right. So why do we want to be extremely mindful when it comes to pendulums? Because they feed on our energy. They take our energy. And unless this pendulum works for you, which is usually, let's say, the head of that pendulum. So let's say political campaign, and this representative of the political campaign is the favorite of pendulums. So they can actually get a lot out of this campaign. So that's beneficial for them. Or corporation, you work at it's in the corporate world. Some people, key players, will benefit from that pendulum, right? They make a lot of money. They go by the rules, and they do exactly what the pendulum wants. So that's one of the characteristics. They do exactly what the pendulum wants. And that's why they succeed. They go up. Anyone who is not really participating or starts feeling almost like trapped, and which it is, it's a matrix, and a person is no longer free. They just give away energy for a little benefit, but they just can't get out. So we want to become mindful of those, because they drain our energy, they take away from our happiness. Viruses also right now is a big pendulum. So it doesn't have to be as huge as a corporation or a business. It can also be as small as getting upset while waiting for traffic. It's all energy, and a lot of people start getting very frustrated when they're in traffic, and you don't even realize, but you responded to that energy field that surrounds all of the cars stuck in traffic, and everyone starts getting upset because the pendulum gets hold of your energy. So when you start feeling like that, it's very important to remind yourself, oh, this is a pendulum. I am no longer in charge if I just submit to that pendulum, if I become just one little a tool in that whole operation. So you want to get out of it. You want to say, oh, this is pendulum. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get involved. And I'm going to talk next Monday. I'm going to discuss techniques how to get out of a pendulum, because it's a subject on its own. But for now, I would say, this whole week ahead of you, start thinking, what pendulum am I stuck in? Which pendulum would I want to get out of? Because it's draining your energy. And like I explained, just follow the characteristics. You'll know when it's a pendulum. And if it's destructive for you, you'll feel less energy. You'll feel like you don't have freedom anymore and that you are no longer in charge of your life. In our current situation, I would say, because we are dealing with stress and anxiety and all kinds of rules and regulations here and there, just become mindful. That's where we come back again to this mindfulness to understand why I'm reacting this way. And it's a pendulum that I let myself to get into. One more factor that's very important. Pendulum goes one way and the other, right? So it's polarized. It strives on polarity. So it doesn't matter how you feel. You can hate it or love it, and you'll contribute to the energy. You'll give away your energy because you are still giving very strong feelings and emotions about this particular pendulum. So let's say you hate working for your corporation, you hate your job, and you're no longer on the supportive side of pendulum that you used to be probably when you got started working there. Now you're on the opposite side of it. So you are still contributing to it. You just on the other polarized side of that pendulum. So you're still giving away energy. Same way for political candidates. So let's say you really hated someone who became a president. By hating that president and with all of your feelings and emotions, you'll actually give more to that candidate because you are investing your feelings and emotions, which are ultimately your energy source. So be very mindful. And next Monday, I'll discuss how to stay neutral, how to get out of that pendulum. Because once you're on hold of that pendulum, you are no longer in charge of your life. You are not free. You work for someone else. And when you're in that scenario, you can't really create the life you truly desire, the life that's going to be fulfilling and happy, the life that makes you want to get up every morning and like just leave and enjoy it and be fruitful and creative. You can't do that when you are under pendulum. So next Monday, make sure to tune in. I'll discuss several ways because it's a very long subject. It's extremely interesting and important. It's one of my favorites, how to stay neutral, how to get out of the pendulum so that you can become your own creator. All right, so usually we move on to some breathing exercise, but today I think I'm just gonna make you breathe during our meditation. And today I'll have a meditation on how to disconnect from a pendulum. I'll also have a meditation this Wednesday. It's I have a series on midweek reset meditation, especially for those of us who work, and it's going to help you a lot. I'll also make sure that I focus on how to get out of the pendulum, how to identify the pendulum and stop the energy that you're giving to it. Okay, so make sure you log in on Wednesday as well. But for now, let's just get comfortable. And if you're lying down, that's perfect. If you just want to sit, it's also good. Just close your eyes and relax. Take a long, deep breath. Just bring your attention to your breath. In and out. And then just imagine a beautiful healing light in the center of your body. And this healing light is it's a part of the whole energy of the universe. And as you inhale, the light gets stronger and more powerful. And as you exhale, the light spreads through your body. With every inhale, you inhale more of that light, healing light, and as you exhale, it spreads through your whole body. And now the light is all around you. You're one with this light. So imagine now that you are in the center of this energy field, the universal energy field. Bring your attention to any part of your body where you feel stuck or tension or discomfort. And just pay attention. Does it have any color? Is it a particular shape? What does it look like to you? And now again, back to your breath. And just imagine with every breath, you bring in more healing energy to that part of your body. And with every exhale, you release it more and more and more. And now you feel relaxed, full of light, full of energy. And I just want to thank you for being here today with me. And I'll see you next Monday. We'll have part 2 on pendulums, on destructive pendulums that I discussed today. And for the next week, just focus on where you giving your energy away to. Which pendulums are you a victim of? So try to see whatever it is in your life that's taking your energy away from you. Next week, we'll discuss how to deactivate that connection and how to reclaim your power and independence. Also, meet me this Wednesday at 9 p.m. for a midweek reset meditation. Midweek is perfect to recharge our batteries before the end of the week. And thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you so much. Namaste.